In Exmoor, there's some beautiful, deep, crystal clear rivers. I'm sure we can see that behind me. The camera doesn't do it justice because it's quite a big, deep, substantial river. And the same in Dartmoor. Beautiful rivers, huge, and they're crystal clear. And when I was a kid, I can remember my mum and dad taking me to Dartmoor with my sister and my brother. I can remember looking at the rivers and seeing these huge black silhouettes of the trout from the top, you know, looking over a bridge. There's like 5, 6 of them down there. Must have been at least a foot long, if not a foot and a half long, some of them. They're big fish. And I can remember going fishing as a kid and catching trout that were this big. In reality, they were a lot smaller, but they seemed big at the time. But at least they were in there. The trout were in there. Now, what I've noticed at 56 years of age, in Dartmoor, walking along the whole stretch of the river, and here in Exmoor, these are beautiful, crystal clear rivers that should have fish in them. Now you can walk along the whole stretch and you never see any. I never see anything. Now, you know, I'm not a novice to this. I used to go trout fishing, and you would see them. You'd see the fish and the trout in certain areas of the water. They'd be sort of just swimming there in stationary, waiting for food to come to them in certain areas. Now, I look at that on this river. Nothing. Not one. And you can walk for miles and not see one fish. So you've got to ask yourself what's going on. Now I think, over the years, these fields, these farmers' fields, for mile upon mile of the water, of the rivers, up there behind me, look, yeah, not necessarily these fields, because they're livestock fields, but the crop rotation fields, which maybe this will become, has tons and tons, gallons upon gallons of fertilizers and pesticides sprayed on it, no doubt. Now, where does the rain wash all that down from? It washes it down off these fields and straight into the rivers. So is that what's going on? We've actually killed our fish. So it seems like a beautiful river, but it's barren. It seems barren of any life. So have we killed all the fish with our farming practices? Which I remember talking to a farmer, and he said to me that it's the government that control the pesticides and the fertilizers that they're allowed to use. And some of them, compared to the fertilizers and pesticides that they were using before, some of these new government-ruled pesticides are highly dangerous and highly toxic. So I don't know. Put it in the comments in the description. Sorry, put it in the comments if you have any ideas on this, whether I'm talking rubbish, or whether I've got the right idea that it is caused by that. Yeah. You always feel like you need to get back. Now, I think it's because of the ingrained monotony over most of your life where you have to work to pay your bills, and therefore you can't be on holiday all the time. You can't be just walking around in forests learning about no fish in the water. You know? Okay. You can't be just mulling around enjoying yourself. Oh no, you got to be back to work. Work to pay for your mortgages and your bills and your council tax. Can't be mulling around doing nothing all day. Cassie, come here. Right, gotta go. There's 2 horses coming. Yeah, 2 horses just came along there. I'm not sure if Cassie would have jumped on them, or I don't want her getting kicked or something. or frightening the horses and the riders come off. Got to think about that aspect, not just your dog. Stop being selfish. Anyway, look at that. Some nice benches there. Beautiful. You see that? There you go. Again on this beautiful river. Look at it. Look at it. Now that is deep. As you jump in there, it should be swimming, and it is probably 3-4 foot deep. Deep enough to have a traction. Can I see one? No. Anyway, where was I to? Oh yeah. So you can't possibly have you know, a time in your life when you're just mudding around doing nothing unless you've retired. You've retired from slavery. You don't have to pay for your bills anymore because you've got a pension. But you've had to work to produce that. You know? And you could say, well, that's not, you know, that's normal. It's normal, that's what you're supposed to do. Waste, you know, more than 3/4 of your life away to pay for a house, basically. I mean, you obviously may have to, you know, you've had to bring up your children. Can't live in nothing, so you've had to have a roof over your head. But it's cleverly priced, isn't it? Houses are cleverly priced. Way stupid amounts of money. You know, £500,000 nearly for a house. Average. Or £350,000. Now, the average person hasn't got that, so they have to borrow it and then spend 1/3 to 2/3 of your life paying it off. And even when you do pay it off, you still got council tax. Bigger the house, bigger the council tax. You hardly come to do anything, you know, they don't collect your bins 3 weeks at a time. Oh God, who are we going? No, that's just people, that's fine. I thought there was more horses coming. Yeah, I'm going to stop this video because people think I'm nuts. Okay. Anyway, look at that. Look. Crystal clear. Not one fish! Stop going on about fish. Yeah, so you got to pay all this money. Hundreds of thousands of pounds to live in a box, basically. I mean, new build houses. Look at it. Look at them. The most uninspiring red bricked box you could ever produce, with white plastic small windows, with boxy plasterboard rooms. The whole thing can't be more than 50 grand in materials, probably, I don't know. And they want, you know, 360,000 to live on Trevor's Mead or something, you know, stupid names. Castle Moat Estates. It's horrible. It looks horrible, but people for some reason fall for it and buy this rubbish, which keeps the market going. Because you got to live somewhere. Got to live somewhere. Can't be, you know. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this forest behind me. Isn't that amazing? I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it's just gnarly trees with moss. Beautiful crystal clear river down there. This is what life is about. Being in nature. You can, you know, as human beings, we can't create this. You do what you want with craftsmanship, red brick houses, kitchens, IKEA furniture. You know, we can't create anything like this. I mean, look at it. Just look at it. That's why I've always liked a barn, really. If I was going to buy something, it would be a natural stone barn. Not if I'm going to buy something. I did buy a red brick house because that's all I can afford. But my dream was always to buy a barn and get a caravan next to it and do the barn up in my own time. But the price of barns are ridiculous, and the red tape involved in you can't build this, you can't do that, you're not allowed to do that. Oh no, you've got to get building inspectors to come along and tell you that you can't do it. So again, it's all down to money. But anyway, rather live in a camper van. Cheaper, get to go on places like this. Much cheaper, I mean like massively cheaper. Is it practical? Single guy? Couple? Yes. Children? Yes, people do it. People van life in vans with children, homeschool them. Cassie? Homeschool them. You know, it's doable, difficult. You can buy bigger camper vans, but the government's going to clamp down on that. You can't park here, can't park there, must be on a campsite, £50 a night. £50 a night? How much is that a week? £350 a week? No thanks. Well, you better buy a house then and pay us council tax. Yeah, great. So anyway, is it supposed to be like that, like this? You know, is this what it's all about? That little doggy there, she doesn't care about council tax. She just wants to enjoy life, and she's so happy. You know, but us humans have made life hell for ourselves. You know, I'm walking along in this beautiful place in April the 2nd, 2025, on a Wednesday. Well, why aren't you at work then? Because I'm self-employed and I don't need to be working all the time. And after working for years, I've realised that it doesn't get you anywhere really. Unless you're clever with your things, invested in property years ago, rented it out, giving you free time. If you're on a job, full-time job, or full-time business, you've got no time. All you're doing is pushing the goalpost, trying to make the next massive deal, trying to make the next, if I get to this, then I'll be happy. Pushing the goalpost, basically. Financial goalpost, emotional goalpost. Pushing all these goalposts to get something where you'll be happy. But really, what you're looking for is freedom, with some kind of security behind it, which we've made into money. Get a house, then you can have a front door that you can lock. Well, I can shut my camper van door. When you're £350 a night campsite, a week, I mean, I'm not paying it. I will wild camp as much as I can for as long as I can. Look at this. So quiet and almost spooky looking, but serene. But serene and beautiful. Cassie, we'll just go down here a minute. Sorry about that. We just had to navigate a gate. Shouldn't be that hard really, but you know. Look at that. Look at this. I'm not sure the camera picks this up. I can't really see until I've got it back on the computer, but massive rock formation, fallen tree. More sheep up there. Anyway, forgot where I was now. Yeah, overpriced houses. Overpriced houses keep everyone invested in working, wasting your life away for years and years. Have an annual holiday that your boss will grant you. There you are. There's your 2 weeks per year. Boss, can I have time off to do? No. If you do, it's coming out of your holiday. Okay. Now, you know, I said it in that voice, but the boss himself is just working. You know, he just happens to have grown his business and now he needs employees. So he's not the slave driver. Who is? Now you could say it's the government. It's the government that is the slave drivers. They've produced all this. I don't know. Or is it just generally human beings with our need for possessions and our need for greed and things, and you know? So we've just made this happen ourselves. Or there is some entity behind it all, behind the government. Don't know. But what I do know is, by the time you've wasted your life in your little brick box, and you can say, I've paid for my brick box. I don't I don't owe anything on my brick box anymore. And I've invested in pensions. And I've bought other brick boxes and I'm renting them out to other people that are struggling to pay for it and wasting their lives to pay for my pension. And now I'm free. I'm free to enjoy my life. Well, sorry mate, but you're probably in your 60s, probably close to death, like it or not, you know, and I hope you're not, but generally looking at the statistics, most people die 70 to 80 years of age. So what have you got, 20 years? Within 20 years you're going to be dead. Now, within that 20 years, are you in the delusional mind that you're going to be running around with full health? You know, nothing's wrong with you at all. I mean, these people that die in that age bracket, what do they die of? They died of something, and more than likely that manifested years before they actually died. So you've got very limited time left after you've paid for your brick box. And then what happens? Go into a care home, and the care homes are carefully priced carefully priced by the powers that be at £700,000-800,000 odd pounds per week. Not per month, per week. Now, if you've got a property, they'll leverage that. If you've got your spouse still remaining in the property when you're in a care home, they're still leveraging it, and it'll all be accounted for. When the estate is sold and your kids inherit some of your wealth, the care home will have taken most of it. So what was all that struggle? God, what have we got? A sudden wind. Leaves flying everywhere. So what was it all for? What was it all for? All that struggle to pay for your red brick box, just having weekends where you sit on your ass basically because you're so tired from work, and you go out and spend money in the shops, and then come home, maybe go out somewhere, everything's overpriced. I mean, the second you step in your car, the fuel's going to cost you money. get to some place you want to go for the day, car park is ripping you off. Leave the car, go into the town's so expensive, coffee's £4 a cup. If you want a cake as well, you got to take out another mortgage, you know? I mean, why? Because everybody's doing the same thing. They're trying to get as much money as possible to achieve financial freedom, which leads to freedom, feeling free. Now, don't you think that's a bit wrong? I know other people have said all this before. I've heard it before. But I've always had it in my mind anyway, that things are just backwards and wrong. You should be enjoying your life as much as possible. Yeah, you know, you could say, well, if everyone did that, who's going to build the TV? Who's going to build the sofa? Who's going to build this and build that? If everyone walked around enjoying themselves, walking around looking at fishless rivers and gnarly trees all day, every day, who the hell's going to build anything? Like this phone that I'm holding right now to film myself. There'll be no one working to build anything. So you have to have work. Yep, I agree. But if houses didn't cost what they cost, and care homes didn't charge what they charge, then we wouldn't have this situation, would we? So you've got to ask yourself, why do houses cost so much money? Why are they priced at a ridiculous amount of money? Why? Who's doing that? Well, that's just a market, that's where it's landed. No, it hasn't. It's not. You know, you need food, that's expensive. But it isn't £300,000, is it? You could say it's the investment in property, buy-to-letters, people that want to be a landlord. I'm a landlord, I am. I've got my clipboard and I've painted my house magnolia. And I'm going to charge £1,000 a month for my little 2-bedroom semi. Now that brigade, following on from the BBC programmes that, you know, made all that happen basically, got a lot, you know, they got a lot to answer for, because that's caused house prices to go ridiculously high. But that's what I'm saying, if you had an alternative, if there was an alternative, or house prices massively dropped, which would leave a lot of people in financial ruin because they'd have to pay, you know, just imagine house prices drop to a reasonable level, like average house price, I don't know, 100,000 say, not 300,000, not 400,000, but 100,000. Some as low as 60, 80,000, like it used to be, which is enough. Don't be daft. Why not? I can't, you know, why not? Look at it. Look at the average 2-bedroom semi-Victorian house. Look at it. It's just a wall on the front and a wall on the back with a roof. And you're paying how much? £300,000? It's not worth that. It's not worth that at all. Bloody thing's falling down. Yes, but I've got a new build. Mine's not falling down. Yeah, but your new build, mate, ain't gonna last as long as this Victorian houses has. No way. Looking at my new build is a shoddy old, I don't know, it just hasn't got that solid foundation to it. It just feels like it's a toy house almost. New build houses feel like toy-like plastic front door with squeaky handles and what's he on about? I know what I'm talking about, and I think most people would agree. Maybe you don't. Put it in the description, comments. Put it in the comments if you think I'm a rambling idiot. In summary, if it wasn't for house prices rents being so high, people wouldn't be enslaved to work for so much of their life. Meaning, your mortgage would be paid off faster. May not even need a mortgage. You know, if rents were lower, much lower, you could save and buy a house outright in a few years. And do away with these banks ripping people off of their mortgage products. But if houses were sensible prices and rents were sensible prices, people wouldn't have to work as much. So I'm not saying people can't work or shouldn't work, because there wouldn't be things to buy, things to have. Do we need those things? Well, I don't need it, but I've got a camper van that I've come here in, so I needed to buy things to build that. And if you don't build one, you'll have to have means to buy one, which means those things being there to buy. So if people have to work. You know, I repair domestic appliances, so I repair things that someone else made. So yeah, things need to be made. Look at this. So I can't wait to come here in the summer and see what this is like. When the leaves on the trees and things, but even now it's just amazing. Yeah, so people still can work, but they would have more of their money. More of their money not going on. Oh Christ, that's me nearly in the water. More of their money not going on a house. You know? Look at that. Look at it. Still no fish. Oh, well done, Cass. Cassie's just splashed right over my wellies. Yeah, so people would have more. Get on with it, mate. Christ. Get to the point. Yeah, the point is, people would have more of their money, not wasting it all on a house, not taking forever for all their life to pay it off, and now they can have time off. If it wasn't so high in the first place, people would pay their mortgages off much quicker, have much more of their life left to enjoy, and enjoy while they're paying it off, or bought it, buying it, whatever. That's the problem. That's the issue. The issue is houses are stupid money, and that is enslaving everybody. So you have to look at alternatives. What's the alternatives? Well, put it in the comments, not the description. Look at this. It's just scene after scene of amazing forest woodlands, different types of trees. Well, I hope this video's coming out properly because it's amazing here. Lorna Doone Valley in Exmoor, England. The country of high house prices and no fish. Yeah. So Vanlife is one of them, but I can see where that's going. I can see the government clamping down on that. They're going to make every camper van pay higher taxes, higher road taxes. They'll do something, you know. Well, you can only they'll track you. You can only have so much mileage per year or something. Something will happen. I don't know what it is yet, but something's going to happen. Because they don't want that. They don't want people living their freedom, having freedom. Oh no. They want to put you in a little box and get you to pay all these bills. You know. I mean, look, even if I'm not in my house, I'm still paying for electricity and water and gas. What do you mean? You're not there, you can't be using it. Yes, I am. because of the standing charge. You know, I worked out the other day, I think it's £30 per fuel per month just for a standing charge to have the electricity and gas connected, even if you're not using it. So if you do buy a house, you think, oh, I've paid it off now. I've paid the bloody thing off and it's now mine. No more bills. Yes, you do. Still got all these bills coming in. Telephone bill, tax, council tax, broadband, gas, electric, all these different bills. If you've got a dog, insurance, because the vet bills are stupidly high. Oh yes. Hello vet, my dog keeps scratching its ear. Vet looks at the dog, looks at the ear. Oh, yes, it's got an infection. Here's some antibiotics. Oh, thank you, vet. Get to the reception. £395 or something. I mean, come on. How can it cost that? You didn't do anything. It's disgusting. But again, I went to medical school to be a vet, and I'm going to pay, you know, I'm going to charge people. Yeah, but don't you think what you're really doing is leading people to not take their animal to the vet, which leads the animal to suffer? Or it leads people to take out insurance plans, and then that's another bill added to your monthly outgoings. Whole thing's crazy. Everything's gone absolutely crazy. But van life is a very real alternative. Am I doing it? Well, I still have a property. I still have my place, my flat, which enslaves me to keep working. And van life in the winter in the UK, I don't think I'd like that too much, you know, misted up windows, can't go outside, raining all the time. That'd be bad enough just for me alone, let alone Cassie in the van. I mean, she doesn't switch off, so she'd be a nightmare. And she'll get wet on every walk, muddy, come into the camper van covered in mud. All right, mate, so what was your point? All this rambling on, walking through your forest and fishless rivers, and you don't even have a point. You haven't got an answer for me. Well, I think the answer is different for every single person. You know, I think what you have to do is to... Cass, what the hell was that? You can't just jump up and whack me. I know what she's saying. She's saying, get off your phone and interact with me. Yeah, she's right. She's right. Cassie, what are you doing? She's looking at sheep. No? You looking at the sheep? Yeah. Basically, I'm saying if you can do it, if you're renting a property and you're single, then start looking into van life videos. If you've had enough of the system and the way things are, just have a look. Because if I was renting, I would definitely do it. Because I've nearly bought my property, and it was hard enough to get onto the property ladder in the first place. And that's another video. Ladder, I don't think it's a ladder at all. Ladder implies that you're going up. You know, I'm a homeowner. No, you're not. You're a debt owner. You're an enslaved debt owner for possibly the rest of your life. So don't start prancing off about, I'm a homeowner owner, like it's a proud thing to do. You know, you've got to be grateful for the bank. Please, bank, please let me have money to buy this house. I'll be so grateful. I mean, come on, it should be the bank that's grateful to you that they're going to enslave you for 35 years and charge you £1,000 a month for some pile of bricks that they own until you pay for it. And like I said, by the time you pay for it, you're dead anyway. I'm nearly dead. So what do you own? What do you own? Nothing. How many families have lived in the same house over and over and over and over and over, and the house is still there? Unless it's a new build, that is. But the house is still there years and years later. No one actually owns anything. You know, you're just passing through. So try to pass through in the easiest way possible and take note of what life actually is. And it isn't about achieving this and achieving that. But yeah, Vanlife's one of them. Another one is robbing a bank. Robbing a bank and getting the money to buy a house outright at today's market value. Or buying a van. Scrap that, you can't rob banks. It's not a good idea, not really. Well, it would be a good idea if you didn't go to prison for it, but that's the thing. That's a whole new video in itself, that is, about, you know, going to prison. What's it got on a council tax letter? You know? What's it got above it? Anyway, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this walk with these babbling brooks with no fish in them. You just imagine, right? New build houses. I mean, I'm surprised that this walk, fantastic, beautiful walk, is free. You know, apart from the car park, National Trust car park, which, you know, they don't charge too bad prices, really. But you know, I'm surprised no one's actually thought, hey, we'll put a gate that in, and people have to pay. They'll have to pay to come in here. How dare they think they can walk along for nothing, pay nothing. And not just that, I mean, look. God, I can't see. Look at it. It makes you think, how long is this going to last for? You know, how long will it last before some new build housing company says, hey, we could put a house over there. We could put an estate over there. I think what we'll do. We'll put a, it's all very well, but this is wasted opportunity. We could build a nice housing estate over there, chop these trees down, put a load of red brick houses over there with white plastic doors and windows. And don't worry about the river, it's dangerous. So what we'll do, we'll put a big pipe through and build a road on top. Yes, that's progress for you, that is. Progress. Profit as well. I tell you, if something was ever to, in the future, to happen to something like this place, and places like it in the world, for so-called human progress, there's got to be something really wrong with the world. I mean, look at it. Oh, Cassie. You okay, my darling? You got your little stick. Yeah. You got your stick. She's got her stick. She's happy she's got her stick. Wagging her little tail. Now, you could go over that man-made structure there. You know, it's not ugly. Or you could go over this thing. Now, is this man-made? Don't think so. This is nature. No, it's not, mate. I made this years ago. I put these stones here. No, you didn't. No one did this. This is natural formation. All of it. Yeah, well, we can build some houses on it. No, you're not. Leave the houses alone. I mean, leave nature alone. Stick your houses where you can. Oh, look at this. Look at it, man. I tell you, I've never been here. I'm 56 years old and I've never been to Lorna Doone Valley. God, what a waste. I only live about 40 miles away. Not even that, 30 miles away. No, about 40. 40 miles away, and I've never been here. I bet my kids haven't either. Gonna have to tell Melissa and Aidan. Melissa, Aidan, get your asses with your kids down here in the summer. It's beautiful. Don't go to the amusement parks and all that rubbish, spending loads of money looking at some tractor or some fish stuck in a tank. Come here, look at it. Kids would love it. Do you know, I was rambling along, incoherently about this, that and the other. Looked at the phone and realised it wasn't even recording. So sometimes if you see me looking at the phone like that or like this, it's because I'm making sure that it is actually recording. Please subscribe to my channel if you like these rambling, mad talks on topics which are actually quite real. And I'll do my best, if you want to put something in the description for me to put something in the comments for me to talk about. I'll come up with my own things, but some ideas about certain things would be great. See you next time. Gazzy, say bye-bye.